What's up, guys? This is your girl Nick. It's like 9 o'clock and I'm so serious about doing these videos every day. So you're gonna just have to suffer through it with me. I really don't think there's that many people watching these videos at this point. I think I have like 350 subscribers, and I don't know that they know when I'm uploading a video. So I'm hoping that it'll be a situation where I get better with the videos, that I get better with making content, and then I get all of these followers, and then they go way back in the archives and they go, oh look, that's so cute, she used to make these little videos in her office in front of her bookshelf, that sort of thing. So I'm working on it, guys. I need to work on lighting because the lighting in this room is horrid, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Before we jump into what we are here to talk about today, I do want to share with you one thing that I seem to have picked up from other YouTube creators, which is that they tend to have like a song or a dance or a special way to ask you to click the subscribe button, right? They do the song, dance, tap dance intro that looks like it was done up by a TV producer type thing. Yeah. I don't have the resources to do any sort of fancy intro, and I like you guys too much to try and sing or dance. So I'm just gonna ask you to push the subscribe button, click the bell, that way you'll know when I upload, and we will just spare ourselves the years of therapy that would result from me singing or dancing, okay? So on to what we're here to talk about tonight. So weight loss surgery has been around for a couple of decades. Of course, weight loss surgery in the US tends to fall into 4 different categories. We have the adjustable gastric band, known to some of you as lap band, Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. We have the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and the surgery that's sometimes performed after the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is the duodenal switch. So those are, I think, the 4 main types of weight loss surgeries in the United States. And they've been around for a little while, which means that we now have a fair amount of what I call weight loss surgery veterans, people who are 10, 15, 20 years post-op. The problem is that a lot of them are not in the weight loss surgery community. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of them who are, but a lot of them aren't. And so I personally just think that there was great value for me in hanging out with other people who are longer term post-op. That is nothing against people who are new. I have a whole group that is like predominantly new people on Facebook. And I love it. It keeps me in touch with what it's like to be a new post-op. It keeps me accountable. It gives me ideas on things that I can do to stay healthier. But just like there is nothing quite like talking to another weight loss surgery post-op who gets it, there's nothing quite like talking to another long-term weight loss surgery person who gets what it's like to be a long-term post-op, because I'm sorry, it is not the same process. So what I thought it would be fun to talk about real quick is what longer-term post-ops talk about when nobody else is around. And I'm in this group on Facebook. It's about 20 to 25 of us. It's a secret group, so no, I'm not giving you the name of it. And we're all longer-term post-ops. We have had different kinds of surgeries. Some of us have had revisions. We all different, phases of post-op maintenance. Some of us have maintained at the low weight. Some of us have gained a little bit back. Some of us have gained a significant amount back. And we all just come together in this group and support each other. But we talk to each other really differently than we talk to other people in the weight loss surgery community when we're in the wider community where there's like newer folks and older folks mixed together. And so I thought it might be fun to just sort of talk about how we talk to each other when there is no non-ops around, and non-ops are people who have not had weight loss surgery at all or any new post-ops. And for the purposes of this discussion, I'm gonna say 18 to 24 months and under, we're gonna classify as a newer post-op. So without further ado, let's jump in. So the first thing that I notice in the group that we focus on a lot when we're just around us is that we rail against the whole concept of healthy living proselytizing. What is that? Healthy living proselytizing, I would define it as like you have stumbled onto the low carb, no carb, keto, whatever way of life, exercise, CrossFit, whatever, that works for you, and you genuinely think that every single person in the world needs to do what you're doing, and if they would, there would just not be an obesity problem. And I know you know somebody like that. You may not be somebody like that, but I know if you are on the internet, you have seen a weight loss surgery person who is like that. We rail against that in this group. Mainly because as you get further out from weight loss surgery, life tends to bite you in the butt. And I don't mean to scare folks who are newer when I say that, but life does tend to bite you in the butt. And you know, things happen, stressors come up. It really tests the, you know, the mental part of this weight loss surgery journey. And sometimes you lose your way. Sometimes you start eating things that you're not supposed to eat, and stop exercising, and stop taking care of yourself, and putting yourself last, and all of these different things. And you know, when that happens, the proselytizing doesn't help. It doesn't help for somebody to tell you, well, you could just, you know, chin up and do it. Sometimes you have to sort of take, you know, my friend Ronnie, she and another lady named Carla wrote a book called What You Can When You Can. It's available on Amazon, by the way, if you want to check it out. And that's really the philosophy, sort of the de facto philosophy in this group. It's like we suggest what you can when you can. So it's not, you know, you don't, you know, going hardcore at the gym every day. Somebody may not be ready to go hardcore at the gym every single day. Maybe they are starting with walking every day and building a habit of walking every day. Maybe the person needs to start a habit of simply drinking water, or taking their vitamins again, or going to their bariatric office, or getting labs, for goodness sakes. So we rail against that proselytizing. The second thing that we tend to talk about when weight loss surgery long-term post-ops get together is that we recognize that even if we didn't keep all of the weight off, we are still a hell of a lot healthier than we were before we had surgery, which is a point that I really, really, really wish was stressed more in the weight loss surgery community, because we let the scale be the sole narrator of our success story. And that's kind of problematic for me. Don't get me wrong, body weight is important. However, when we let the scale be the sole narrator of our success story, we tend to lose sight of some things. Like some folks in the group have, you know, overcome debilitating diseases. I myself have overcome a debilitating disease. I got freaking breast cancer. I had a double mastectomy, and I recovered from that beautifully because of my health. And I put that on my weight loss surgery because it taught me to pay attention to my body and pay attention to my health, and to prioritize myself in a way that allowed me to not only catch it really, really early in the process, but also for my body to have the nutrients and the fitness and everything that it needed to be able to heal really, really quickly. Other folks in the group have dealt with other types of cancer, fibromyalgia, PCOS, just the list goes on. And a lot of those issues resolved for them when they lost weight, even though maybe they gained a little bit of that weight back. And what I hear time and time again is that we use the scale as sort of the measuring stick of whether or not we're successful in weight loss surgery. And that really irks the bejesus out of me, because if somebody gained 10 or 15 or 20 pounds back, but they got rid of their diabetes, or they got, you know, they're now able to conceive when they weren't able to conceive before. That's a big freaking deal. That means something. So we tend to recognize in each other and in ourselves that we've made a lot of freaking progress, even if some of the weight has come back. I will be honest with you. Like I said, I've had a regain of about 40 pounds. And even though I have regained that 40 pounds, I have low blood pressure. I have low cholesterol. I'm very fit. I can run, I can jump, I can make it through workouts and keep on going. I walk 10,000 plus steps every single day. So it's like, you know, if I let that 40 pounds make or break my success story, you know, if I called myself a failure based on those 40 pounds, that wouldn't be the whole story. That wouldn't be the truth. And so we don't let each other do that in this group. We remind each other of the strides that we've made. And the final thing that I want to go over that we talk about as longer term post-ops when nobody else is around is we spend a significant amount of time talking about how to lose regain in a way that won't make us batshit crazy. This because when you're new, you are willing to do some, like, I'm gonna use an expletive here. I'm gonna cover the kids' ears, send them out of the room, whatever. You have been warned. But newer post-ops, you guys are willing to do some really crazy shit to lose weight. Like, seriously. And don't take that as shade. That is actually a compliment. You guys are committed. You will go on like the 0 carb exercise 3 hours a day, go to the gym 3 hours a day, lift these really heavy weights and eat all of these like interesting like supplemental products and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, like longer term post-ops tend to either fall into one of a few camps. One is, of course, sometimes you go completely off the rails. That happens. That's happened to me several times in my post-op life. Then you have people who are just like mega compliant. They decided how their life was going to be. They live that life every single day and have since they had surgery. Hand to the sky to you, because I can't relate to you, but I have great admiration and I'm slightly jealous of you. And then there's people like me who have found their healthy habits, but they're not like really extreme. Like I'm not gonna deny that I eat a cookie sometimes. Sometimes I eat a slice of pizza. You know, sometimes I have a glass of wine. These are things that I do in my life. I'm 11 years post-op. I'm okay with it. And so when we tend to discuss losing weight, it's interesting because you have to make a decision in your head of whether or not how far you're willing to go to lose that weight, because we all know that it takes extreme action in order to lose weight. That it's not going to happen just by, just by doing whatever you've always done. You have to make a drastic change. And so, sometimes you have to think to yourself, like, how much of a change am I willing to make? And sometimes folks are willing to make that big drastic change in order to lose the weight. And if you do and you decide that's right for you, I'm happy for you. I have nothing but love for you. But in our group, we tend to try to discuss sustainable changes that meet us where we're at, that are progressive, that are, we build upon, that will not get us into like a pattern of thinking that we think is unhealthy. Because I know, like, my first year and a half, 2 years after surgery, I had like a full-blown eating disorder. Like, it was really bad. But we tend to talk about those things of, how to reintroduce low carb eating, how to reintroduce high protein eating, how to reintroduce exercise and hydration and self-care and all of those things in ways that fit into our lives and aren't going to drive us crazy bonkers because they're just so overwhelming a change to make at one time. So that is the third thing that we talk about a lot in my weight loss surgery long-term group. So anyway, I don't know if this is what's helpful or not to anybody, much less newer folks, but I did want to speak on that. Now, I think I'm going to speak more on what it's like to be a longer term post-op, just because it's like such a unique experience to be able to like see people at the point where you were. And I see it over and over again because I interact with so many people every day of, knowing what it's like to be that new person, but not being that new person anymore. I think one of the most significant things about being a long-term post-op, and I think this is probably another video, I'm rambling now, is the fact that, I personally, and I can't speak for everybody because I know this is not true for everybody, but I remember Nikki pre-op and I honor her, but that's not who I've been for a number of years. So it's like I don't quite internalize my before as much as other people. And I think that that's one main difference that happened as a long-term post-op is that, 10 years ago, I was at my lowest weight. I wasn't an obese person. 10 years ago, I was 170 some pounds. And a size 6. So, it's a very different experience being a longer term post-op, like how you see yourself in the past, how you see yourself toward the future, the priorities that you have and things like that. And I think that's where I'm sort of heading towards speaking on this YouTube channel. So I'm committed to sharing my success story with you. And if you would like to follow my success story, once again, I'm going to remind you, click the little subscribe button. Yesterday I called it the follow button. My bad, faux pas. The subscribe button and the bell so that you can be subscribed to the channel and know when I upload, and then you will get all of my little mindless revelations. But for January 2nd, I'm gonna go. So guys, thank you for listening to my ramblings. If you have any comments, leave them down below and I will read them and respond to them. But until my video tomorrow, Peace.